What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and I just spent the last couple hours trying out Fortnite on Nintendo Switch, because surprisingly they randomly dropped it today. As many of you know, I'm absolutely obsessed with Battle Royale games. They're just so dang addictive to me, so I wanted to go into this with a really hard glance and judge, is this a good version or something they just kinda threw out there to try and get some extra money. So after playing it quite a bit, I can say that this is way better than I would have thought. It's not that the Nintendo Switch is weak, but occasionally the ports have to make sacrifices to make sure they run well, and this doesn't really seem to be cutting back on much of anything. The graphics are definitely a step down. I mean, just doing something like a side-by-side comparison here, you can easily see that this doesn't really compare to something like the PlayStation 4. Even still, it does have some pretty good visuals overall, although it definitely seems like it's stuck at about 30 frames a second. Occasionally when you're in firefights, it will dip to around 15 or 20 frames a second, at least for a couple seconds. It seems like the game is trying to constantly load all the different things around you, and it sometimes has to make slight cutbacks in order to try and keep the game loading at a decent rate. Now, this never got me killed, but it did catch me off guard a couple times when I was in a really heated match and I was trying to corner somebody when suddenly my game started to sort of sputter. I do think that this could be patched out. It seems like this is probably just something because of the compression. They definitely shoved all the file sizes of this giant game to be as tiny as possible. And the reason I know that is because the graphical assets and sound are very flat. Like almost everything in this game sounds like it's coming out of a cell phone speaker. In fact, I would say that some stuff like footsteps don't sound correct at all, whether I'm doing it through my speakers or using headphones. This seems like they were just trying to get the game going as quickly as possible, or that possibly there are sections of this that are actually based on the programming of the cell phone version. Now, that's not me trying to rip into this or insult it. The fact that this can run at all is really fantastic. I mean, this is Fortnite Battle Royale on a handheld. True, you can play it on a big screen TV like I am, but even the fact that it runs in any capacity is quite impressive. I'm sure many of you are the most curious about that though. How does this work in handheld mode? Well, I did a couple rounds of that specifically, and I can say that this is where I really had the most trouble. It seems like the pop-in gets severely worse. So here, as you can see, I'm skydiving into a random arena, and as I get close to the ground, things begin to spring up like plants coming to life. It's not horrendous, it's just something that takes some getting used to. It's very jarring as somebody who's put 250 hours into this game on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC, so seeing so much just kind of spring up is very bizarre. I mean, I was still able to get this kill clearly, but I definitely was put back off a little bit. I don't think I'll ever be playing this in handheld unless for some reason I'm really bored and stuck somewhere with a great internet connection. Now, I do want to say that I find it impressive that this is really the most up-to-date version of the game. A lot of times when you see ports, especially of shooters, they're a couple patches behind. They don't really have the most up-to-date content. But this actually has shopping carts, superhero themes, and everything that has only recently been introduced is currently live and in this game, which means that they must have separate development teams that are all constantly working on keeping the content in perfect parallel. So that is fantastic. Something that I was also very interested in was voice chat. I play this game a ton with my friends, and those people though, they're all on typically the PC or the PS4. So I was wondering, am I going to be able to co-op this? And the answer is yes, but it does have a very big drawback. If you want to play this game online with any of the friends you already have on your account with Epic Games, you can't unless you have never logged in on a PlayStation 4. Yes, that's right. Despite the fact that I've unlocked literally hundreds of costumes, emotes, special dances, and all sorts of cool customizables on my PlayStation 4, that completely locks it out from ever interacting with my Switch. Now that is disappointing because I wanted to get that stuff. And it's doubly so because this means that now, despite the fact that I currently have a Battle Pass, I'm going to have a Battle Pass that works on every single console except the Switch. The fact that they did this isn't necessarily surprising, but it is disappointing as somebody who is a humongous fan of Fortnite Battle Royale. I do want to say, it's still good though. This game as a whole is pretty fun. Now, something else I actually had some concerns about was voice chat, because this game is very much about communication, being able to call out targets, alert your friends, and not get caught unaware, because one big shotgun blast can instantly end you. Well, they just announced literally minutes ago that they are in fact going to unlock voice chat, and it won't require the app at all. Now, this is really crazy because if you go in the game right now, you can already see that there is a little speaker icon next to your name, which means that this already has it programmed in. They're just, I guess, waiting for Nintendo to give them the green light so that they can unlock that functionality. This is a fantastic bit of news because it means that really we're going to be getting the definitive Fortnite experience, the way to play this on the go with your friends and even actually talk to them. You're not stuck freaking using that terrible Nintendo cell phone app. This version is very, very cool, but I do want to say right now is definitely the time to jump in because most of the people playing it are absolute trash. So right here, you're seeing a several minute long clip that I'm using, and it's where I'm killing 5 people in a row, back to back, by myself. I mean, I even pickaxe one person to death. The people online, for some reason, are absolute garbage. I think that there's just a huge chunk of the fan base that's always heard about Fortnite and always wanted to play Fortnite, but only had enough money for a single console, and they chose to get the Nintendo Switch. So I can't really blame them, but it is kind of fun as somebody who is a really hardcore person like myself, jumping in and just dominating these people all day long. This really is a great version of the game, but I still think that it needs some work. I don't want to say that it's perfect yet, because while I think that it runs exceptionally well for the limited hardware it's on, it still has some problems more on the network side. There was definitely some skipping around, server crashes, and errors like that. Now, I'm sure that we're going to see some of this because it is the first launch day, but it's also because I think that there are just some problems still trying to integrate the Nintendo Switch onto Epic servers. At this point, I'm sure they're used to having 50 million players, so it doesn't seem like it's just a general workload bogging it down. I think that right now they're still trying to figure out how the Nintendo Switch interacts with its architecture on online servers. So I really didn't like the fact that while I was parachuting in, sometimes I'd have lag, or when I was trying to pick up a weapon, sometimes I'd go past it or do one of those weird things where it loses a frame and skips you forward. These are tiny gripes overall though, because really I am quite impressed. I'm glad that they managed to bring this over at last, and it's just going to make it where the fan base is going to expand exponentially. If you think that this game isn't a console seller, you're crazy. Face it, little kids love this game, and so many of them have been playing it on cell phones during their lunch break because they're terribly bored at school. Well, now every single one of those millions of kids are going to start asking their parents this Christmas to get them a Switch so they can play the game they love anywhere at any time. And I'm going to be right there in the same servers, crushing them under my boot because I'm kind of a mean adult. Thanks so much for watching this video, but I really want to know your thoughts. Have you tried this game, and did you get any good kills? Let me know all about them in the comments down below, and seriously, if you see me online, definitely do your best to try and take me out, because even a good death is a blast in this game. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor, give this video a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, but do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Just at the end here, I want to make you guys a little promise. If this video somehow breaks 2,000 likes, I'll live stream some Fortnite on Switch, just so you guys can see me absolutely dominate a bunch of little children and basically brag about it. It'll be a ton of fun. So thank you so much for watching, thank you for liking, and well, I'm going to go back to just utterly obliterating everybody nearby. Oh, hey! I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.